Namaskar, Adab, Salam, Vadakkam and Sat Sri Akal. My name is Jayant Mundhra and guys welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be conducting a data deep dive into Paytm's BNPL, that is postpaid, and its personal loan businesses. So when we talk about Paytm's lending businesses, guys, let us be very clear. Paytm does not lend to people out of its own books. Rather, what it does is it lends via its partners, some of which are listed in front of you, like Ayurveda Capital, Pyramid Finance, etc. And Paytm charges certain kind of fees to it for the services provided, and it makes money that way. Now, when we talk about postpaid particularly, the theory is very simple that based on prior transacting data like UPI transactions, wallet transactions, etc., Paytm gives people a small credit line of say 5 to 10,000 rupees or 15,000 rupees, which helps generate certain credit history for different users, and also a bit of, you can say, a credit habit that okay, I am ready to use credit as a service on a regular fashion. And based on that data, as it gains more confidence about a particular user, its algorithms say that okay, let us raise the credit limit for this guy. And as more and more credit limit is generated, it generates more transactions, and as a person you makes more transactions, more credit history is generated, and accordingly more money is also made. That is how this product basically works. And how has it basically fared over time? You would look at the numbers and you would say it has actually fared pretty beautifully. You can see the numbers have grown crazily, and it is lending out almost, you can say, 1.15 crore such loans each quarter, and these amount to almost 7,000 crores, 6,800 crores, which is these are phenomenal numbers, guys. And if you look at the average loan amount disbursed, uh, if you look at this particular line, this has grown consistently over the last 6 quarters, and it has grown from 2.7k levels to almost 6k per user. Now, the growth, if you look at this line, it's one dimensional, it's very good, right? And if you think about it, Paytm earns 2.5% commissions on each of such loans given out, and around 0.75% collection fee. These numbers about what Paytm earns, these are based on what I could collect after my conversations with different people working at Paytm, right? So these are numbers that you may not find elsewhere. But 80 lakh users have taken such loans so far, 80 lakh different users of postpaid product, and these guys have taken almost 5.6 cr such loans, which means that on an average 7 months of postpaid usage per person. These are great things to actually look at, right? And moreover, if you think about it, 40 lakh users have used postpaid in the last quarter alone, and these guys at an average did basically 2.85 loans per person, which means that in the 3 month quarter, if each person is taking 2.85 loans, it basically means that 95% of the people use Paytm's postpaid product for all 3 months. So that shows that the retention is quite strong, the engagement is quite strong out here. So that is postpaid for you in a nutshell. But where does personal loan exactly fit into this picture? So, as a person, when you talk of postpaid, as someone completes 3 to 6 different cycles, a cycle is a month, right? As someone completes 3 to 6 different months of such repayment cycles of the postpaid product, Paytm generates a lot of data about what kind of transactions are being made, to what kind of merchants, at what time of the month, are the transactions big or small in general, and what is the frequency, etc. And a lot more other such data, of course, maybe on the basis of geography and other such things as well. And based on that data, Paytm is able to say that okay, now we have taken a person who had no credit history, we have generated a credit history for this guy, to say that okay, we are able to confidently say that we can probably give him a credit line of a personal loan. And this personal loan, we will give it to this person for a high interest rate, because the risk is of course high, and let us keep the limit also low, say maybe 50,000 rupees, 1 lakh rupees, 1.5 lakh, 2 lakh rupees. Okay, that is how this begins. And a person, as he completes maybe say 12 months of the loan repayment cycle, Paytm generally what it does is it begins to give the pop-up in the app that maybe you would want to take a top-up loan. You took a 2 lakh loan, you paid back 1 lakh rupees. Why not now also take a 1.5 lakh loan at a slightly lower interest rate? Because we are much more confident in lending to you that you won't take the money and run away. There are lesser chances of that. And that is how this product basically evolves. And as one completes the entire personal loan cycle, Paytm offers them a new fresh loan with a higher credit limit, say maybe you took a 2 lakh loan before, now we are offering you a 4 lakh loan. At the same time, at a slightly lower interest rate if it is viable. So if earlier Paytm charged 18%, it would say we are okay to do with 16% as well. So you realize how this product is particularly working. BNPL generates a lot of credit history and cultivates, it basically nurtures a lot of users, which can later on be sent to the personal loan team that, okay, this person is good for personal loan now. And then personal loan, they keep on generating more and more confidence and accordingly keep on lending more and more to them. That is what the funnel is like. That is how it basically moves. And if you look at the numbers as well, the numbers show this thing. If you would actually look at numbers, number one, the growth has been phenomenal. And if you would look at this particular line, the blue line particularly, it tells you the average loan amount. Now, average loan amount was not really that big. It started off with something around 50,000 rupees per user. Uh, it got to almost 85-90,000 rupees. It stayed there for some time, but then look at this particular point and just journey from there on. It has been rising pretty handsomely every single quarter after that, right? Now, why did that happen? Because a lot of people had already completed an entire loan cycle and they had begun to take top-up loans as well as fresh loans at of higher sums, because they were now allowed to take a higher sum as a loan. And that is what has played out beautifully out here. And on each such loan being provided, Paytm earns a decent amount of commission. As per my findings, it's somewhere around, you can say, 3.5% of commission and a 1% collection fee on top of that. And when it comes to basically how many people have used it particularly, you can say that in the last 12 months alone, 8.5 lakh users have taken personal loans via Paytm. And these people have taken an average of one loan. So you can say that the average loan cycle is somewhere close to 12 months or something like that, which is quite normal in the lower end of the personal loan cycle, right? And what is really phenomenal is that company claims that 40 to 45% of all the new loans being disbursed are to repeat borrowers, which shows the retention capability of the platform, that people who have taken a loan completed, when they are offered a higher credit limit, a higher loan at a lower interest sum, they just grab it because it is so easy to do it. It's such a smooth product. The numbers speak for themselves. I won't really delve more into them. They are out for you to see. But what about the defaults? I mean, if someone is lending so aggressively, there is a risk as well, right? Especially when these are people who did not have a credit history particularly. Paytm helped them generate a credit history via their BNPL product. So are they really safe? How does Paytm ensure that their credit partners are not really scared of working with them? So the process is pretty simple. What Paytm does is basically, it tracks the movement of every single month's EMI payments. Okay. Now, in general, when it comes to postpaid as well as personal loan, you can see that the company says the bounce rate is usually between 10 to 12%, something like that, right? So this is basically in line with RBI's recent data report, which said that nearly 10% of retail borrowers always miss their EMIs, monthly EMIs. So that is fine. Now, when this particular thing happens, what Paytm does is it keeps on running its own systems, its own platform. It has built certain algorithms. Based on that, it generates a lot of data and it begins to target the users to pay back the amount. And how does it target? It does not send people to its homes, the others' homes, right? What it does is on the app itself, it would basically begin to reach out to the customer again and again. It would show pop-ups there. It would do push notifications. It would do SMS. It would do a call maybe, because the system is very clear that more often than not, people do not want to become a defaulter. They either forget to pay the sum, or it is the case that the person may not have had enough amount in the particular account for any particular reason, and maybe the amount would be available 7 days from then. So that is what it tries to do. And the good part is that almost you can see that 80 to 85% of the loans in case of postpaid and almost 90% of the cases in terms of personal loan get resolved via all of this itself. And in all of such cases, Paytm also charges the collection a penalty because you missed a deadline. So you have to also give a penalty. But the good part is Paytm gets a penalty as well as resolution is so strong that what remains is basically, say if 1,000 loans were given and 100 to 120 people probably defaulted out of that, and within 90 days of that default, that number basically comes down to almost 10 to 20 defaulters only. So after 1,000 loans being given, just 10 to 20 end up being defaulters 90 days later of first EMI missing. Okay? And what does it do then? It then basically forwards that particular customer to the ground collection teams. It can be there, it can basically be Paytm's own collection team as well as partner teams. And that helps recover another 30 to 35% of the loans in either case, be it postpaid or personal loan, which basically means that, uh, almost all the cases which are tagged NPA, because RBI norm says that if someone has not paid a EMI for 90 days, you have got to tag them as an NPA, that is non-performing account, right? Non-performing asset. Uh, Paytm ensures that of every 10 to 20 such people, the number actually comes down to 3 to 6 such people. So out of 1,000 people, 3 to 6 such people end up being defaulters. That is the data that Paytm has made available. It does not tell us how much amount these 3 to 6 people had with them and how much amount was thus lost. It does not share that data, but it still sounds pretty good enough that out of 1,000 people who are taking postpaid and personal loans, only 3 to 6 are ending up turning defaulters, right? And this is where basically, Paytm also gets the performance bonus. Bonus is basically nothing but the collection fee that we talked about earlier, right? So if you look at these numbers, we talked about 1% collection fee out here in case of personal loans, something like that, and nearly about 0.75% collection fee in case of postpaid. So every loan which is entirely collected back by Paytm via its platform or its ground teams, etc., it gets a performance bonus. As simple as that. And that is how this entire business is basically working out, guys. So this was the entire analysis on how the postpaid and personal loan duopoly is basically working out for Paytm. How postpaid funnels people into the personal loan business, how the numbers have grown, how the repeat borrower rate are, how much user engagement is there in case of postpaid product. We discussed it all. If you like this particular stuff, all this analysis, do like the video. If you would like to see more of such videos and analysis, do subscribe to the channel and share this stuff that we are talking about here. And if you have any questions, doubt or suggestions, do share with me in the comments below or maybe directly. That said, this is Jayant signing out. Thank you.